Hello, I'm Alisa from School of Liberal Arts, Sukhothai Thammathirat Open University.
And I'm Jay. Welcome to Culture Me, where we talk about cultural issues and differences. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email us at stoucultureme@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook at Facebook.com/stoucultureme. And don't forget to like us.
สวัสดีค่ะนี่เป็นรายการที่16สำหรับรายการ Culture Me ของเรานะคะท่านที่สนใจสามารถเข้าไปที่เว็บไซต์แล้วก็อีเมลได้นะคะมาถึงเราเพื่อถามปัญหาต่างๆซึ่งเราจะนำมาตอบในรายการสุดท้ายของโปรแกรมนี้นะคะอาจารย์ today what are we going to explore around the world อาจารย์
We're going to talk about some just fun facts from different countries.
Do you think it's too trivial?
It is trivial, but I think it's interesting information. Things that most people don't know, and that surprises people. It even surprised me when I read a lot of the information.
Okay, how about your own country first, Ajahn, the U.S.?
There's some very strange things in the U.S. that are funny. Like the U.S. is, of course, famous for being an English-speaking country.
Yeah.
But the United States has no official language. So, English is not the official language in the U.S. It doesn't have one. Some states do. Some individual states have English as their official language, but the country, the United States, does not.
So what about government paper, official papers? Is in English?
They are in English, but they're also, almost everything is also available in Spanish, as well as some other languages.
Do you have any kind of laws or regulation at all? The billboard should be in English or
No. In fact, a lot of billboards are in Spanish.
Really?
Yes. And even I'm from Houston, Texas, and Houston has a very large Vietnamese population, and there's actually an area called Asiatown. And most of the people are Vietnamese, and even the street signs are in Vietnamese.
Oh, so it's not illegal.
No.
Okay. And what about in school, Ajahn? Do students have to study English as a compulsory subject?
They do at almost all schools. They have to, but some things are changing. There are some schools that offer some classes in Spanish. There are a lot of ESL programs in schools also for students who their English is not native speaker level, and so they have the ESL courses, and then some schools will offer some subjects in the student's native language.
And Ajahn, in terms of languages, I think, since U.S. is a huge country, there must be many languages spoken in the country. What are they, Ajahn?
Well, the after English, the next most commonly spoken language is, of course, Spanish, and the U.S. has over 37 million Spanish speakers, mostly in the larger cities, Los Angeles, New York, Miami, Chicago.
It depends on the area as well, right?
It does. It does. And the next most commonly spoken language is Chinese.
Chinese?
Yes.
Mandarin, I suppose. Or Cantonese, both.
Both. And San Francisco has a very large Chinese population. And almost all of the large cities have a Chinatown. Almost all of the large
What
cities.
about Thai, Thai language, the Thai language?
It's down on the list. It's not in the top 10, but there is a Thai town in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I think everybody knows that.
And it's the only designated Thai neighborhood in the U.S. It's the only one. But it's one interesting little fun fact is, everyone in Thailand, I think, knows that Bangkok means the city of angels.
It is.
It is. But Los Angeles is the same thing.
Yeah. That's
Los
that
Angeles
we have
means
in common.
Yeah, so it's funny. And in because the population in Thai town has so many Thais, it's actually the largest population of Thais outside of Thailand. And some people refer to it as Thailand's 78th province.
Must be, because so many Thais live there. Ajahn, what are other languages, Ajahn, like Tagalog?
Tagalog is commonly spoken, which is the language of the Philippines. And then Vietnamese, and Houston and Dallas, Texas, both have large Vietnamese communities. French, also, and then German.
The European languages.
Then Korean.
Oh, Korean is a big community in the U.S. as well.
It's grown. The Korean community has really grown in the last 30 years. In fact, the number of Koreans has quadrupled since 1980. And then after that is Arabic, then Russian, then Italian.
I thought Italian must be very popular. I don't know, as I've seen in the movies.
Italian food is. There, again, just like you said, it depends on the area. And a lot of Italian people who speak Italian have actually lived in the U.S. for generations.
Yeah, I think
it's just
so.
the language has been passed down through generation and generation. The cities like Boston and Philadelphia are very common that you would still hear Italian.
So it seems we have all different languages everywhere.
Yes, especially if you're in the big city, you're going to hear many different languages.
And Ajahn, what else do you like to talk about for the U.S.?
The entire U.S. actually has 6 different time zones.
Oh.
So you're in one state, and another state is a different time. What we call the continental U.S. has 4 time zones, but the islands that make Hawaii is a separate time zone, and Alaska is a separate time zone. That's what a lot of people wonder and ask me about, like the Academy Awards. When they see the Academy Awards, the stars are all, it's daytime, and they're wearing evening gowns and tuxedos, and they look very nice. But that's because they have to film it early in California because it's on the West Coast and it's Pacific time. Because if they filmed it in the evening, everyone in New York would already be asleep. It would be too late. They wouldn't watch it.
Yeah.
So they have to, in California, they have to film the Academy Awards, in the afternoon, and they pretend it's evening.
So people have to be aware of time change.
Yes, yes.
I remember when I was in the States, I went to school late because of the time zone. I woke up and oh no, it's 1 hour late already.
Yes, I mean you can live in one state and actually work in another, and it's a different time zone.
Yeah, because it's such a huge country. It's
Right.
a continental, actually.
Yes.
Ajahn, what country are we going to explore next?
Well, speaking of time zones, China, which is a huge country, they only have one time zone.
Oh, yeah, I think they have been a debate on that.
Yeah, and back a long time ago, in 1912, China started having 5 different time zones, but then in 1949, to promote like a national unification, they went to just one time zone. So it means that it's 6 o'clock in the morning in Beijing, and then in the west of the country, 3,000 miles away, it's 6 o'clock, but everyone's asleep.
Ajahn, and what about Japan? Japan must have only one time zone, I think.
I think so. I think so.
And what are interesting fun facts
Well,
that
I
we
think
can learn from Japan?
The most interesting thing to me was that in Japan, farmers grow watermelons that are square.
Yeah,
They're
I
square.
saw that on television.
The reason was, because Japan is such a small country and has a lot of people, so space is always a concern. And they did it because it makes them easier to pack and to store. Because
Yeah,
you
I
can
think so
stack
too.
them.
I wonder about the taste. I never tasted
I haven't
square
tasted
melon.
them, and I'm not sure if I will after I saw how much they cost.
Oh yeah.
They're very expensive. I found a price of how much people in Canada are paying for these square Japanese watermelons, and it's the same as about 5,000 baht
My
for
goodness.
one watermelon.
I think it must be difficult to peel off the skin,
I-
because it's square, not
Yeah.
round.
It would be. It would be. Maybe you can use a saw instead of a knife.
And what else, Ajahn, in terms of Japanese,
In Japan, there are more pets than children.
really?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that because I love dogs and not so much the kids. The birth rate.
You mean in one specific town, maybe?
No, the whole country.
Really?
The birth rate in Japan has been going down. People just aren't having
it's becoming
children.
a senior citizen
Right.
society.
And so people are having pets instead, and they totally pamper their dogs with they take them to resorts and yoga classes, and they buy them designer clothes.
Yeah, it's a big business and cute. I think cute.
I love them.
I envy those dogs.
Me too. They have a better life than I do. Joking.
And in terms of women, about their teeth and things like that.
This one I don't understand. This is, in most cultures, we all want to have beautiful, perfect, straight teeth. In Japan, women is a trend, and I read this on dailymail.co.uk, and there's a trend, and it's called, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, I've practiced it, yeba, and it's to have crooked teeth, and it's actually it's called multi-layered or double teeth,
yeah.
and with fangs, kind of like an animal that stick down.
Maybe it's cute.
They think it's cute. It's culture is different, and but women are actually paying a lot of money to have their teeth made to be crooked and to have like animal teeth. Some estimates, the Huffington Post said that the doctors were charging the equivalent of 6,000 baht
My
to
goodness.
16,000 baht for one tooth.
Oh,
For one
my
tooth.
goodness.
Yeah.
It is the fun facts from this country indeed.
Yes. Very interesting.
Now
Very interesting.
we jump to Russia, Jan.
Well, this I thought was absolutely fascinating. Until 2013,
No, only a few years ago. Only 2 years ago.
Until 2 years ago, in Russia, beer was not considered an alcoholic beverage. It was considered a soft drink.
Oh, Jan, what's the difference between soft drink and alcohol?
Well, and alcohol means you can get drunk from it if you drink enough. One beer you're not going to get drunk, but it has alcohol in it, and so it will make you relaxed. And if you drink too much, you get drunk.
I wonder about Scottish people. Do they consider whiskey alcohol or not?
I think in most countries, alcohol is considered alcohol. But yeah, this really surprised me. I guess, beer does not normally have as much alcohol in it as something like vodka, whiskey.
And Germany as well, it's a country that drinks a lot of beer.
Yes. Yeah, they make a lot and they drink a lot of beer. But yeah, in Russia, until 2 years ago, they just considered it, just a soft drink, the same as cola, any of the colas.
So, Ajahn, in terms of English, what about these soft drinks? What about sparkling
Sparkling means that it's carbonated, which has bubbles, has the little bubbles. And it varies what you call it by region. And even in the U.S., it depends which state you live in of what you call it. Some people call it a soft drink. Some people call it cola. Some people call it by the brand name, like Coke, even if it's not Coke. If they'll drink Pepsi, but call it a Coke. And then there are some places in the U.S. that call it pop, P-O-P. But anything that's carbonated has the bubbles, and some people call it a fizzy drink too.
Yeah,
fizzy. Fizzy
And
drink.
what about root beer, John? Is it a beer or not?
No, root beer is not alcoholic. Not alcoholic. I don't know actually why root beer is called beer. No idea. But no, root beer has no alcohol. It's just a soft drink. Just a soft drink.
Well, come back to Russia, since beers now, the status has been moved to alcohol beverage. So what are the effects, Ajahn?
Well, they can't buy it just anywhere now.
Yeah.
It used to be available, just anywhere, the same as buying a Coke or a Pepsi or an Est. So now it's restricted, the same as other forms of alcohol.
Ajahn, from Russia we go to Canada.
This is an interesting fact, and of course it depends which study and which source you read, because the country, it varies. But according to Time magazine, Canada is the world's most educated country, has the most
They
college
can read
graduates.
and write.
Read and write, but also they have the most college graduates per population.
But I think we may have to explore in terms of the computer literate too, Ajahn.
That's a good point. There are different ways, different studies, and different ways to judge which country is the most intelligent. It depends, what intelligent. How are you talking about? Being tech savvy or having a college degree?
Because now they have the term multi-literacies, maybe you call it multi-literacies, meaning you cannot just read and write, but you have to use computer to be able to email, to connect to other people.
That is...
And to read the visuals, the infographics and things like that.
I think that's a much more valid way to...
Because there's
to
not
study.
only paper book now, not only in the form of printed materials.
Right. Other Israel is was listed as number 2, but in a lot of studies, Israel is listed as number 1.
John, we may have to stop right now because time is almost over.
Okay.
And we'll talk about this later.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us.